We are on.
All right, we're here. Good afternoon. Welcome. This is the time and place for the December 5th, 2012 Planning Commission meeting. May I have roll call, please?
Planning Commissioners Astorian.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Sheets. Yesayan.
Here.
Chairperson Landrigan.
Here. Thank you. We have a quorum. Right now, we have a report regarding the posting of the agenda.
The agenda for this meeting was posted on Wednesday, November 28th, 2012, on the bulletin board outside City Hall and on the city's website.
Thank you. So now we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and, Mr. Lee, would you lead us, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
I pledge
allegiance to
the
the
flag
flag
Of the United States of America
and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll move the flag on.
We got tricked again.
Where is it?
It's to make sure you're paying
I
attention.
can't. Thank you. Well, it's better than doing it to a postage stamp, which the council has done. All right. So now we have approval of minutes. We have minutes from October 3rd. And since I was not there, I can't tell you if they're correct or not.
Move to approve.
Second.
Since there are only two of the members who were there at the time, can we vote on it?
Oh, yes, you can.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
I
Abstain? I abstain.
abstain too.
All right, so those minutes are passed. We'll move on to the next item. We're open for
Yes.
oral communication. Oral communication actually is for any items that are not on this agenda. If you wish to talk to the commission, this is the time. We have a 3 to 5 minute time period. Do I have any? I don't have any cards. All right. We will then move on to item number 6, which we have no appeals. Item number 7, we have no old business. We have new business. And so I'm opening the public hearing for the new business, which is General Plan Amendment, case number PGPA 1233694, and zone change case number PZMA 1233689. May we have the staff report?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the Commission. The project is located on 2 lots at 313 and 315 West California Avenue. It's just west of Central Avenue. And the applicant is Chandler Pratt and Partners. The project includes a zone change from R1250 parking structure overlay, which is a high-density residential zone, to downtown specific plan transitional district. A general plan amendment is also requested from high-density residential to downtown specific plan. The purpose of the requested zone change and general plan amendment is to match the downtown specific plan zoning and general plan designation of the other 3 parcels located at 301 through 313 North Central Avenue, which is under the same ownership as the 2 subject properties. The zone change and general plan amendment would also match the parcels that are located just north of the property. The zone change and general plan amendment will allow the entire site to be developed under the DSP development standards, rather than the current split zone situation requiring projects to be developed with different standards or with several variances. The current proposal has been designed so that the building steps down from 6-story structure along Central Avenue to 4 stories moving east to west along California. This design is consistent with the downtown specific plan design guidelines, and any new development projects other than the one proposed would also need to meet these guidelines. An addendum to the downtown specific plan final EIR was prepared to evaluate the project, which found that no new impacts would occur. At this time, planning staff recommends that the Planning Commission review the proposed zone change and general plan amendment and recommend approval to the City Council. And that concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Eric from the Commission?
I have one.
Commissioner Lee.
The background talks about 3,600 square foot of open space, but, the drawings or any description does not address what type of open space it is. Normally of this size project, we would like to see some sort of a public art or some sort of a beneficial to the public. So maybe that question might be answered by the applicant. But do you know of any design involved in the open space?
What the open space that's currently proposed as part of this development is requesting one of the concessions under the downtown specific plan to get additional height and floor area ratio. So right now, without an incentive, they would be allowed a maximum of 4 stories and 65 feet with an FAR of 2.5. By providing additional open space that's accessible to the public, they would be allowed to go to 6 stories, 95 feet, and a FAR of 3. So right now, we're currently working on modifying their current proposal in terms of where that additional open space is required are located. So we weren't really discussing the project design at this point, but they're originally proposing to be kind of spread out a little bit more along California and wrapping around Central. So we're looking to get them to provide that more on the corner of Central and California to provide more kind of area that would be able to be accessible by the public.
I guess my question was a little bit more specific in that, do they provide any type of art deco or something
There's
to the public?
There's no art proposed in the current proposal, but that all that kind of stuff will be discussed as part of the Stage 1 design review.
Mr. Chang, they do have the option of paying a 1% fee versus...
No, I understand that, right. They were proposing open space height. I was just curious.
Yeah, the open space was to get the additional height and density with the incentive.
And that is 3,600 square feet.
Correct, yeah.
But it's not yet decided whether it's going to be clustered or separate.
Correct. That's something we're still working out that would be addressed as part of the Stage 1, which we plan on going to the City Council in early January with that proposal for Stage 1 in the zone change.
So those renderings are just really preliminary?
Correct, yeah.
One more question.
Outside of the actual building envelope, that's something that won't change. But just in terms of maybe design materials, colors, and the location of the open space is something that's still open for discussion.
Let me add this one thing. So is it the arcade-like design here that is considered open space in the elevation that I'm looking at? Is that what is being presented as?
I don't know that it's actually an arcade, but it is located kind of under the first story, basically. So if you look at because the DSP requires setbacks from the curb face to allow for larger sidewalks and that sort of thing, but it allows the building at the second floor to go to the property line, essentially. So a lot of developments we get in the downtown have that kind of open space that's almost like tucked under the first story or the second or the bottom of the first story.
So at the moment, though, that is what the open space is.
That's what the current proposals is at this moment, yeah.
Without any trees?
Yeah, we don't have a landscaping plan. We're not to that level yet. So.
Okay.
No, I was just curious. I have one more question.
Please, Commissioner Green.
The 84, the housing units that they're proposing, does that have any affordable housing?
Not at the moment, no.
Not at the moment. I'd like to see some.
Yeah, and if I may continue in the same vein, does this mean, because we've had projects before that they've come back and then added density under SB 1818, is that a potential? Have they?
It's a potential, but I think right now, because they're maxing out their allowable FAR, that's may or may not come up, but they would still be, even if they did affordable housing later on, they would still need to meet the FAR and also it's really more or less the actual building, the bulk of the building, the mass of the building would not change from what's being proposed today versus what would be going to Stage 1 approval.
But what's in front of us today is really a zoning change.
Correct, yeah.
Understood.
And general plan amendment.
Right. Any other questions for staff? All right. I would like to call the applicant forward. I have 2 applicant cards. combined, if you're both applicants, you have 15 minutes. I will let you all draw straws as to how you wish to use that. And that I have Keith McCloskey and Todd Pratt. And if you all will identify yourself, and then we'll time your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Todd Pratt. Of our company, Chandler Pratt, is about a 40-year-old development company, and we're making a large investment. We're looking forward to this project in Glendale. We have spent many months working very closely with Eric and all the staff to come up with this current design that very much will comply with all of the desires and goals of the city for the open space, the parking, the landscaping. We've done some generous setbacks and some stepping down of the building to accommodate some of the lower density as you go down California. And primarily the goal here today with us is the property that we're purchasing consists of 5 individual parcels, as Eric outlined. And so really this is a cleanup. The 2 rear parcels are differently zoned, kind of a carryover from before. So by consolidating all 5 under the downtown specific plan zoning, it just allows for a contiguous project and much smarter design. So that's what we're all about. Members of our team are here today to answer any questions, including myself and my partner, Corey, our architect, Keith, our consultant who has put together the environmental package, as well as some our brokers here, and also the chamber for support. So if there's any other questions, we didn't want to belabor the excellent presentation by Eric.
All right. Any questions for the applicant, Commissioner Lee?
Yes, I do. I guess, I'll ask this question first, and then I'll ask the same question that I asked Eric. The first question is that this is more of going over what we've discussed prior to starting of this hearing, and to make it public, and that is that I asked about the shadow study, which the report carries somewhat addresses shadow effect on that small house next door. So I just want you to elaborate on what you've done to address the shadow effect on that small house next door.
Certainly. We have met with and are currently working with our neighbor directly to the west of us, right over the property line. There is an older house, and we have a setback on our side of 5 feet down at grade and 10 feet up above, so we're pulling our building back. We've also, during the design stage of our project with the city, we carefully step down the building as you progress over towards the lower density neighborhood, purposefully so that the massing and the height drops down to 45 feet and allows more light and air into that neighbor. It's also important to note that our total height is 65 feet on the front, 45 at the rear, and the prior approved project was 95 feet tall. And frankly, anything that gets developed at this site would be, at least 3 or 4 stories. And so, there's only so much we can do. But we're very sensitive and cognizant of the existing neighbor's house. His property is zoned R1250, so he could build a 3-story building there if he wanted to build an 8-plex or something like that in the future. So that's also kind of something to be weighed into the factor.
Following up with the question on the open space, by having the open space, you're allowed some additional, development areas. Now, the building, the structure itself is very massive. So, the way I view it, although we're not, going over the design right here, but we are approving the zoning change that allows you to do this. So, I'm just, curious as to what, your thoughts were, and that, if you have any plans to make it inviting, by having open space, you have this massive structure. What is it that you're planning to do with the open space?
Keith, our architect, could probably elaborate a little bit, but we have very much designed our building to totally comply with the open space requirement. We are providing completely public accessible open space right on the street at the corner. So we have taken our retail stores and pushed them back, creating a large courtyard effect, if you will, that's right on the sidewalk, and it's totally publicly accessible, and it will also create a very wonderful space to, for the retailers. Maybe we can have some outdoor furniture there and some seating and whatnot, and there'll be landscaping, and so people can come by and sit down and relax or enjoy a cup of coffee or something like that, all publicly open to the public. And then we've also done some notching of the building in select areas to really break up the massing and push the entry lobby back for the residential, so there's generous space off the sidewalk to really break up the massing and create some open areas from the street side so that it's not such a solid mass plane, if you will, on the street.
So you have all four sides all three sides, forgive me, all three street frontages will have the open space on it, or are you going to limit it to two of the streets?
Well, our property is only on Central and California.
All right.
To the north is the school district, and then to the west would be the private landowner. So on the two streets that we have, we've carefully designed the open space to concentrate it right on the sidewalk for the public.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Has anybody suggested any kind of planting in the 5-foot setback for the benefit of your neighbor to the west?
Yes, we have extensively looked at that and talked about that during design, and we purposefully have put in a landscape buffer there so we could put in some nice greenery and a little green screen, if you will, so that it's a gesture towards the lower density as you go down the street.
Further questions? All right. We thank you very much. If there are other comments that require you to provide a rebuttal, we will give you time to do that. I will now ask other speakers to come forward. I have Elisa Asmarian.
Hello, my name is Elisa Asmarian. I'm the president of the Armenian American Chamber of Commerce, Greater Los Angeles chapter. I'm here today on behalf of the Board of Directors of ACC-JLAC to express our full support for the development at 313, 315 West California Street, consisting of 84 units, apartments with 5,000 square feet of retail on the ground floor. As you know, the Armenian American Chamber of Commerce is a nonprofit organization committed to serving the needs of the business community in the U.S. and abroad. We are the organization that encourages entrepreneurship, innovative business activity here within our wonderful city of Glendale and beyond. The project before you is exactly the type of project we support. We have reviewed architectural plans and like the proposed density, color, space, unit design, and how the building steps down onto California. So there is less impact to the existing properties on California Street. We support the proposed zone change and general plan amendment at the site. ACC-JLAC, Board of Directors, and myself as a local business owner in Glendale support this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, Sam Manukian.
Good evening. My name is Sam Manukian. I'm going to try to keep this very short. I'm with Remax Optima. I'm the broker representing Chandler Pratt. And one of the main reasons we're here tonight is after working closely with the staff, and they've been phenomenal. They've guided us all the way from the planning stages all the way to where we are and where we're going. And the zone change amendment was suggestions that were done by the planning and by members of the City Council as the correct way to address the deficiencies on the zoning on this particular site. So I hope that you guys are going to approve it, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. If the applicant has anything they would like to add, you have an opportunity now to do so. Nope. All right. Thank you very much. I'm going to close the public hearing. And we will now deliberate on the zone change and the general plan amendment for us. Comments from the commissioners.
It's a great project. I support it.
I move to approve it.
All right.
Second?
Second. We have a move to approve and a second. Do we have any comments or conversation? Well, I would like to say one thing. This is the kind of change that I like to see before the building is there, because too many times we have dealt with two properties that are different zoning, and we have to deal with it later, and this is the right way to go, and I think it's very well presented, and I think it's a very nice solution here, so I'm in support of it. May I have roll call, please?
Just one comment
Oh, yeah?
before that. Did you prepare the staff report, Eric?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it was done very well.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thorough. Thank you, Commissioner Story. Roll
Planning
call, please.
Commissioners Astorian.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Yesayan.
Yes.
Chairperson Landrigan.
Yes. The project passes. Thank you very much.
Good luck and welcome to Glendale.
Yes. Thank you very much. Our next item is Community Development Department updates. Do we have any updates from the Community Development Department?
It's just an announcement that we will be canceling our next Planning Commission meeting. We do not have any items right now, so that would be the December 19th meeting. And so our next meeting would be on January 16th.
All right.
And that would be our regularly scheduled. We usually do not have a meeting the first week in January. And also on our first meeting in January, we always schedule the election of a new chairperson for the Planning Commission. So it would be a chairperson and a pro tem.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to ask for comments from the commissioners. Do we have any announcements? Besides the fact that it's amazing that you all are so calm.
We all,
You look alike.
three of us.
We all are sort of
We did
three of
discuss
us.
it before.
in our winter beige.
I do have one comment. My email box for the city is full, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to delete it. It's not able to delete emails.
Yeah, I know we did
On it.
report that to
Okay.
IS, so I know they've been working on our whole system here in planning.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
All right.
It's not like I really receive comments from people, but in case I do, I would like it to be available.
Excellent.
Let me ask, while we're talking about the email box, is the email addresses that we have at the city, are they checked by you and then forwarded to us? How does that work?
The email automatically, if it goes to your box, a copy also goes to one of the members of our staff. And so he's able to, it automatically goes to him, so he's aware of if a letter comes in. That way, if something comes in at the last minute when we have a meeting, he knows to print copies and give a copy to us.
We don't get to check it. I mean, the staff forwards it to us, or how is that? Because I've never.
You have a box and you can
Yeah.
go on and check it.
Yeah.
If you,
And there's
for
other
everybody.
emails that you get too, like citywide emails, which is nice because you get updates on what's happening in the city.
we'll hook you up if you're not able to access it, but you do have an email.
I've not attempted to access it, but I think with the new year and so forth, maybe.
It might be a goal.
And there have been emails that I've personally received, and I wasn't forwarded it from someone else.
Well, I know when emails
So-
come out related to a project, we will print them out and make sure you get a copy along with
Yeah.
with it whenever a case is prepared and brought before you. Another item that is coming up you might be interested in, last February, we had some members of the development community approach council with the ability or the question about the ability to do a small lot ordinance in Glendale. So I don't know if you're familiar with the city of Los Angeles, but they do have a small lot ordinance which has been quite successful. And so we are taking an item to council to initiate a study on a small lot ordinance. It's scheduled for December 18th at 3 o'clock.
Is that residential or commercial, Ms. Dollar?
Residential. It would be, at this time, we're only looking at doing it in our multifamily zones like LA.
Okay, cool.
Also, was this what we just approved? Is this going to go to council too, or was it a recommendation?
That's good.
Yes.
Zone change. Yeah.
After it's been decided.
All right.
Well, just one more comment. Since we're not going to be seeing the commissioners or the staff, at least in official capacity for before the New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's. Be safe. And for those out there watching us, same to you and your family and your loved ones. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. And whatever it is that is important to you, may you see that you will get it. So.
I concur.
Thank you. I second that motion.
I third that.
I might warn you all that I watched the council and Mr. Najarian announced to everyone that you could still go in the fast track as a carpool and not be ticketed. I can tell you that's not true because I did.
Fast track.
The fast track that's on the 110.
110, yeah.
Oh.
You have to have
Didn't
one
they
of their
do-
transponders.
They issued like
if-
12,000 tickets, right?
I got one.
Yeah.
They waived the fee, but I have to pay the toll.
Oh, God.
So, in case you would like to take Mr. Najarian's advice, I recommend that it was slightly flawed. You can drive in a carpool, but you have to have
Have him
a
pay for it.
transponder.
You can have him pay for it.
$2.40.
Great.
So, I think that I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. Are there any other comments from the commission to the staff? Thank you very much. Be safe. We'll see you all in the new year. The meeting is adjourned.
Great. Thanks, guys.